Alright, backyard birding week continues. I wanted, it was finally a little bit sunny, so I thought I'd pop out and show you a little bit of my backyard, or I should say my front yard feeding system. So these feeders right here are most of my feeders. I have a hummingbird feeder a little to the left, but that's only a temporary situation for when our hummingbirds come. This I've had up all winter long. I've got a couple different styles of feeders, and I'll hint at a future video that's also going to be put. Actually, there's, oh, that was bird. Just some landscape fabric. Okay, so all right, so a little bit about what I've got going on here. So first off, over in closer to the window, I've got some tube feeders. Sorry if it's really dark. There really is no great time of day to take this this video, but these are tube feeders. I fill with a general seed that basically I don't have a preference on who comes to my feeder. So depending on if you want to attract something, or if you want to dissuade a certain type of bird like starlings or something like that, there's different types of feed, and we can also post one of those what birds like what feed onto our page as well. But these are general tube feeders, very common to get. One is a little bit smaller. The one on the right is a little bit smaller around, whereas the one on the left fits a lot more. And then it's got little perches, things like that, so the little birds can come on in and take a seat. And then I'm gonna back up a little bit. This feeder is new to me. This guy right here is new to me this year. I have just put him out. I don't have any other sort of platform feeder. We have a lot of squirrels in our neighborhood, and so I'm a little hesitant to put out a just a regular platform feeder. But yeah, so this is again just general seed. I've gotten a lot of play with my finches on this one. And it seems like my squirrels are less likely to bother this one for some reason. It partially could be, you know, it's attached to a little light pole there at the top. And then a little bit to the right, that guy right there, that actually just has water in it. So one thing that you can also add to your feeding system is a water source of some kind. That basically, it's a mason jar that screws into a little tray. It is glass, so I didn't keep it out this winter, but it's a good idea to offer a clean water source. A lot of times I get a lot of play off this feeder. I call it a feeder, I guess, but this watering system. So I kind of was a little hesitant at first to put it out, like would any birds use it, that kind of thing. But it's actually done pretty well. So one thing to make sure, I mean with all feeders, but specifically ones that have any sort of liquid, is make sure to keep them clean. There are bad things that can start to grow in feeders that aren't good for the birds. So you can find more about diseases that can be spread by feeders at the National Audubon Society. Online has some really good resources. And just soap and water. It doesn't have to be anything. Don't use any harsh chemicals or anything like that, and you don't want to leave any bad residues for the birds. And my last little bit is, I'm going to spin a little bit. I did put my bird bath out for actually just here in the last couple, maybe a week or so. Again, because of the cold temps, I didn't want it to crack. So again, providing an area for water. And one thing that's great about this, and maybe even the little one too, this also doubles for insects and for other kind of non-bird, maybe even your squirrel. Who knows? Maybe I'll see a squirrel in there one day. Who knows? But yeah, so this compromises a little bit of structure and function. So you know, this light pole was kind of already there with this odd hole through it. So found a rod and turned it into a bird feeding station. And I took advantage, I'll talk a little bit about this in a different video, but I took advantage of this giant kind of bush conifer thing. as a place to put my feeders, because the birds love it as cover, so they stick inside. But like I said, I'll talk about that in another video. So these are my feeder system. There is this winter I did have a suet feeder out for a while. I didn't get a terrible amount of play on it, and so I only did that kind of in those really cold months. But beyond that, there's also tray feeders that you can get. Those are the only couple ones. And then thistle, like they look like kind of long socks. You can put thistle seed, which is really tiny fine seed, in those as well. So for the most part, I should say too, you don't have to make or go out and buy bird feeders. There's lots of really good resources, and we'll be posting a video actually of how to make your own bird feeders at home from things, you know, that you're throwing out, recycled things. So lots and lots of good resources online. If you have any more questions, post them in the comments and we'll go ahead and get those taken care of. Thanks for joining us, and stick around for other things that we post this week. Thanks.